Good evening. Excitement was the name of the game in Columbus as Steubenville Big Red and Columbus Whitehall battled for the Ohio Division II championship today. It's a game that went into overtime with Steubenville Big Red coming out on top. Warren Armstrong's with us now with more on the playoff matchup. Warren, it was really a squeaker. We were all biting our nails in there.
After all that turkey yesterday, the last thing we need is an ulcer from that game today. That's for sure, Mel. Well, you said excitement. I say defense was the name of the game for the Big Red all season. And defense was the game this afternoon in Columbus for the Big Red. Big Red's potent offense was able to move up and down the field at the horseshoe, but they couldn't find the end zone. Here's the kickoff, and later on you'll see quarterback Nodiana sacked. Well, that's the way it went. He was sacked at least 4 times as Whitehall's defense got tough too. But it was defense that scored Big Red's touchdown in the third quarter. It was on a block punt. Joe Johnson jumped on the ball in the end zone, but the point after was no good for Steubenville, but they went ahead 6-0 in the third quarter. Then late, very late in the fourth quarter, some 20 seconds left, Whitehall tied it up late in the fourth quarter. It was 6-all, and it went into overtime. As we said, we started the nail biting. Well, Whitehall kicked a 22-yard field goal in overtime. It was 9-6, but Big Red comes right back with Todd Kelly doing a lot of the running. He got the ball down to the 4-yard line. They got to the 2-yard line, and then Joe Jones, the hero of the day, he jumped over from the 2, and it was a 12-9. Was the final score, and ended up a state championship. It's right here in Steubenville. Congratulations to the team. Now, they'll be coming back tonight, Mel, we think around 10 o'clock. And there is a rally planned at Harding Stadium tonight. And go down and have a good time. And once again, congratulations to the team and to the town. Well deserved. We'll have more later. And we're also going to have the game at 11:30 Saturday night, played completely in replay. Thanks. A lot of Steubenville people made a wish today. They wished they'd win, and they did. And wishes came true today for the town of Steubenville and for all those players. Congratulations to them once again. They've got a state championship. Our sponsor tonight for the Sportscast is your hometown Pizza Hut. The Steubenville Big Red is the Division II state champions in Ohio. The Big Red put together a tremendous defensive effort to earn their very first state championship, and it took an overtime effort to do it too. What you're going to see here are first quarter highlights, and this first half was all defense. There was no score throughout the first half. Steubenville receives the kickoff and brings it back for their first possession, and Whitehall immediately showed that they're tough on defense too. Steve Nodianis is sacked twice in a row here. He was sacked at least 2 more times in the football game. Poor Steve had minus yards running today, rushing, but it was still a tremendous effort by the Big Red. They shut down Whitehall. The Rams were able to keep Steubenville out of the end zone also. Here you'll see a fumble recovered by Big Red. Now, Big Red scored in the third quarter when Joe Johnson, who you're going to see here in a few minutes on a fake punt, as he runs for a first down. Joe Johnson jumped on the ball in the third quarter after a blocked punt. Well, the point after was no good, but Steubenville went up 6-0. Then with some 20 seconds left in the game, Whitehall scored on a 5-yard pass play to tie it up at 6. Well, their point after was also no good. Well, then we go over to overtime, and Whitehall kicked a field goal, 22-yarder, to make it 9-6 for Whitehall, but Steubenville came right back with another big drive, capped by another touchdown by Joe Johnson, this time a 2-yard run, and they won the game in overtime 12-9, and they grabbed that state championship. Now, Ed Warren is on his way back from Columbus right now, and tonight on our 11 o'clock newscast, Ed will have a complete report on the Big Red victory and state championship. Saturday night at 11:30 now, TV9 has a treat for Big Red and Eastern Ohio football fans. We will be repeating the game from Columbus, so if you couldn't be there, we were. We'll have an entire replay of that championship contest Saturday night at 11:30. Well, meanwhile...
Good evening. I'm Mary Ellen Locher in Steubenville.
I'm Warren Armstrong in Wheeling.
Tonight on News 9, Steubenville Big Red brings home Ohio State Division II championship as they beat Columbus Whitehall today in overtime. Warren?
Memorial services are held for that Illinois basketball star gunned down this week. And
from Steubenville and Wheeling, this is News 9.
Good evening. For the first time in the history of the Ohio State playoffs, an Ohio Valley team has taken the championship. That team is Steubenville Big Red, and it did it today by beating Columbus Whitehall in Columbus. Ed Warren now is back from the game to tell us how it happened. Ed, it was quite a nail-biter there at the end. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
Well, when you get into overtime, almost anything can happen, and almost anything did happen, as it turned out. Some great defense throughout the ballgame today, and when we got into overtime, it came down to 20 yards. It was 20 yards, which will live forever in the minds of all Big Red fans. Those 20 yards made Steubenville Big Red the first Ohio Valley football team to ever win a state championship in a playoff game. In overtime, you start from the opponent's 20. Remember, it's 9-6 Whitehall. First play, Steve Lucas gets 4 yards around the left end. Now it's 2nd and 6. Steve Lucas around the right side. He'll get to the 12. That makes it 3rd and 2. Now the biggest play of the game. Lucas gets, or rather Kelly, I'm sorry. Kelly's doing all this carrying. I beg your pardon. 8 yards down to the 4. For a change of pace, they go to Brian Young. He almost gets in. He stopped just shy of the end zone. On the next play, nearly a mix-up. Nodianis misses the handoff, keeps it, and goes to the line of scrimmage. Then the play. Joe Johnson, much like Pete Johnson of the Dolphins, plows in from the 1, and the celebration begins. A reminder, we'll show you the entire game from opening kickoff to Johnson's touchdown tomorrow night at 11:30 on TV9. Final score, Division II state champion Big Red 12, Columbus Whitehall 9 in overtime.
Okay, Ed, thanks a lot. Back home in Steubenville, Big Red fans started pouring into Harding Stadium around 8:30 tonight. There's a few thousand there right now, waiting for their champion's victorious return.
Way to go, Big Red! Did.
You think they did a lot of hard work for this?
A lot. I sat through all the cold and the waiting and that to watch them do this.
Was there any time during that game that you really didn't think they were going to do it?
No, I had all the confidence in the world in the football team in Reno Succoach. I had it all year. I said from the beginning that they were going to go all the way, and they went all the way.
And was there a lot of Big Red fan support at the game today?
There was a lot of all kind of fans. There was Brook fans there. There was Toronto. There was Weirden. And it looked like the whole Wintersville team was there, you know, and it was absolutely tremendous, the amount of people there. Mingo all the way around. I've seen people from all parts around here.
So Steubenville, they brought it home for the town, but they also brought it home for the Ohio Valley.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And we had the support of everybody, not just Big Red fans. And that was really nice.
You guys all going to do here tonight once the team arrives?
Party! Both sides are giving vastly different accounts of what led to today's gun.
Working for his paycheck and then some. Steubenville game today, incredible ending.
Yes, just really an incredible ball game. I was glad to be there for the part that I was, and I know the 8, 9, 10,000, however many that were there from Steubenville, and the 17,000 total were totally thrilled to be there. Except at the end of the game, the Whitehall fans weren't too happy.
That's all right. Didn't bother me.
Thanks for tuning in. A very pleasant good evening. Our playoff highlights tonight brought to you by the fine folks at the Miners and Mechanics Bank. It truly was a day to remember for Steubenville High football fans, and really for any person in the Valley who calls himself a true football fan. Steubenville Big Red proved today that the Ohio Valley will not take a backseat to anyone on either side of the river when it comes to playing championship caliber football. In turn, their efforts won themselves a state football championship. It certainly was not easy. Big Red's first 2 offensive plays lost a total of 20 yards. However, the team regrouped and its defense proved it could play too, here forcing a fumble which Brian Young recovered. After a scoreless first half, Big Red broke the ice when John Downard blocked a Whitehall punt inside the Rams' 10, and Joe Johnson scooped it up and ran in for the score in the 3rd period. The punt block play was on.
Yeah, we wanted the block punt, and we got it. We just went after it, team effort. We got what we wanted when we needed it.
That score made it 6-0, and that lead stood up until finally, with 26 seconds to go in the game, Whitehall scored on a 5-yard pass from Tom Matevsky to Don Overton. However, on the all-important extra point after a bad snap, Big Red foiled a try for 2 points, and the score remains 6-6 into overtime. In Ohio overtime, you get the ball on the other guy's 20, and you gain 1 first down possibly before you have to score. Whitehall got that first down, but not the touchdown, settling instead for a 19-yard field goal by Jimmy Carter. Whitehall led 9-6. Big Red used 6 plays to get the game-winning score. The biggest play was an 8-yard first down run by Todd Kelly to the 4. Then 3 plays later, Joe Johnson plowed in from the 1, and the celebration was on.
Yeah, we have confidence in ourselves. We never say die. You see all the fans we had in our stands behind us. There's no way we're going to quit with them behind us. There was no way we were going to quit ourselves anyway. The whole team played good. We worked as a team on defense. Crowd supported us 100%. I think that's, the main thing. We brought a lot of people here. They supported us a lot, helped us out a lot. Brought us, there were times we were down, brought us up, we surged, good did on D.
If you give up 6 points in a championship game or 9 points in a championship game, we feel that we can win. It wasn't easy, but something great never comes easy. You just got to dig down and shoot. Nobody's going to keep us from scoring from only 20 yards after working since January. And, we didn't keep them from scoring, but they only got 3 and we got 6. So we were 3 points better, maybe because we worked 3 times harder. I don't know. but they weren't keeping us out of the end zone.
And so Steubenville Big Red wins its first ever Ohio High School Division II football championship, knocking off Columbus Whitehall. The victory gives Big Red a 13-0 season this year. Whitehall closes its year at 12-1. From Ohio Stadium in Columbus, I'm Ed Warren, News 9 Sports.